Good night, good night, good night. Yes, indeed. Okay, so Miss Chantell is going to be doing another repeat of this video. I took the other video down. I went back to hear it. When I got to it, my music was playing over it too loud. And a lot of noise was in the background. So I'm doing it over. Okay. Yes, I don't want something to be up that it's hard for people to listen to because of the noise and music and all of that. Okay. So I'm gonna be talking about the same thing I was talking about in the last video upload. I'm gonna just do a repeat of that. But I want to say first, happy ADOCS. Y'all know what ADOCS mean, right? American Descendants of Chattel Slavery. It is the concrete definition that describes a people in America that took part in establishing this country. That was the labor force of this country, enslaved labor force. The inventors, the innovators, all of the great things that about this country. ADOCS is a people that they're extraordinary. In this month, which we call Black History Month, I'm wondering, should we be changing that, people? We should be changing that because like we breaking everything down. The delineation is breaking everything down. So Black History Month, it's a little too broad nowadays for us, right? We probably should change it to something else that narrows it down to the scope of ADOCS. American Descendants of Chattel Slavery, not just Black people in general. Unless that's what you guys, you still on that. If you okay with, I'm talking to my people, if you okay with Black in general History Month, then okay. But I think personally that we should change it to narrow the scope directly on us in this country because it's about us. Okay, that month was put in effect for us to honor and acknowledge our people's struggle in this country and their excellence, most of all. So, yeah, I think we should change it. But I said happy ADOCS. Now, let me say something. I'm using ADOCS. I really like ADOCS. It does not mean I don't like ADOS, FBA, Solon, or Solane. I hope I keep on saying it wrong. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Solon. I'm gonna have to get this down. Solon. I don't dislike who else? American Freedman. I'm in full support of any group of ADOCS because ADOCS is the main title that describes FBA, ADOS, and so forth. American Descendants of Chattel Slavery. We're all that. All of us is American descendants of slavery. We're different branches. Foundational Black Americans. That's a lineage description. ADOS. I think that's more of a political organization. Oh, hold on a second. Yeah. That's a little bit of a political organization. And then Salon, I have to learn more about them. I don't know anything about them. So I'm not familiar with them. I have to learn about them. So I'm not going to really speak on what I think they're about. And then you have American Freedmen, and okay. And I look forward to many more ADOCS branches arising. Those branches arise to work for the betterment of ADOCS people in America. As long as you are doing that type of work, I will support. Period. I hate to get into my subjects real early because I have them lined up, but let me say something. I heard, 1 second, I heard a woman that was a Pan African, by the way. She's up there calling people stupid because they support FBA and they don't know what FBA is truly about. And they should support ADOS because it came from ADOS. And I'm like, listen, first of all, mind you, because you're a Pan-Africanist, you believe in flat blackness, you are anti-ADOS. You believe in the erasure of ADOCS people and you participate in it. So you need to mind you being a Pan-African, which you don't know how to be, because you Pan-Africans tear each other apart. That's not Pan. Pan means together. That's not Pan-African. Ripping each other down. Then you want to put your little dirty fingers into the mix of ADOCS people, American descendants of chattel slavery, their branches of ADOS and FBA and Salon, and tell us who we should and shouldn't support, as though we are dumb children. You don't feel welcome, do you? That's what it is. When they don't feel welcome, they get the yelling and throwing stuff and doing campaign smears. Like, sweetheart, I heard a person say, again, the Tyreek guy stole I guess the name from somewhere else and whatever. I'm like, listen, if it's working for the betterment of the community, delineation, having a descriptor for our people in particular, Miss Chantell supports it. If it comes out that it's causing our community harm in some kind of ways, then I pull back. But I support all the branches. Period. And in fact, talking about we don't know the history of Tyreek and so forth. I'm like, well, I don't goddamn need to know the history and ain't trying to figure out the history because as long as he's talking right, that's what it's about. You do understand he's putting himself on front line. Do you understand? You do understand this man is not able to enter Europe because people know of his chop, his controversial stance. Okay. One second. Yeah, so what was I saying about her? You want to go viral. Wait. Yeah, it was a Pan-African lady that was, with a big Muppet mouth trying to sway people to not support, pretty much trying to divide and conquer. That's what Pan-Africans are about. Divide and conquer technique. Well, we're going to turn them against him and lead them over there, and then we can take his following and girl, bye. If you're not about ADOCS, any of ADOCS groups, move along. Why are you tending to them? They're so bored without us. Why are you tending to them? If you're about Pan Africanism, that's where your focus should be, on Pan Africanism. Okay? 1 second. But yeah, I tripped out. I'm like, listen, these little conniving people is a mess. The Pan Africans. Let's get into the chop though. So first, well, I talked about we should change the ADOCS Black History Month is known as. We should probably change the name of that. Let me tell you something. You don't have to wait for government change to do anything. You change it yourself. And I'm not talking governmental wise, I'm talking about you and your people. Maintain the names of yourself and your institutions and events, period. You can call it whatever the hell you want. If you're talking to me and I'm going to respond to you that no, it's not AAVE, it's Ebonics, period. We're going to get to that. Okay. We're going to talk about that a little tonight. All right. So I'm going to go fast because I am a little sleepy, but I wanted to redo the video. Right now on my computer screen, I happen to come across, oh, let me check my volume. Let me check this out. Okay. 1 second. I'm definitely to know the history and then trying to figure out the history because as long as you're talking right, that's what it's about. That sounds good. You put yourself on front line. Do you understand? You do understand this thing is not able to answer. Right. I'm glad I had came in on that point saying that he putting himself on front line because that it's controversial. Now where this video went at. It's controversial what he talks about, what he's pushing. Do you understand? He's making a lot of enemies. Shish. Okay. When I say he's making a lot of enemies, a lot of people is losing out on taking advantage of ADOCS, foundational Black American culture, and exploiting us. He has pinpointed something that's causing the people to go, wait a minute, are you one of us? Because if not, we don't want you speaking on us. If not, 1 second. If if not, we don't want you speaking on us. We don't want you representing us in nothing. We're not about to support you. We not look at the young lady. What's the young lady who came out with the song? She tried to, do an anthem for foundational Black American Salon. And oh my gosh, when they found out that she was not one of us, they started digging in. And her association was anti FBA. Ooh, she was tossed way up in the air. I don't know where she landed. They was done. FBA is not playing, baby. Okay? FBA is not playing. Listen, child, she was tossing. She won't be getting no support from FBA. I haven't heard of her since. I haven't heard of her since. And then she came back snappy, baby. She was like, let me tell you one thing. I don't kiss nobody's ass. We ain't heard of her since. So it's causing people to lose a lot of money, to lose a lot of jobs. They can't exploit anymore. Oh, yes. Yes. The delineation and foundational Black American description of our particular people, which again, ADOCS is the name that truly defines our people, but we have different, this is my perspective, but we have different branches of ADOCS. ADOCS is American Descendants of Chattel Slavery. If you're not one of them, okay, American Descendants of Chattel Slavery. That is ADOS people, American Descendants of Slaves. That organization is a political organization. I guess it's about voting and stuff. FBA is about delineation, a descriptor for the a ethnic name to hold to, um, a ethnic name to hold to, and to specify who we are among Blackness. Okay. Solon, again, I don't know much about them. I have to look into them, which I'm gonna try to do soon. I don't know much about them though, but yeah, every branch play a part. Every grassroots movement or group play a part in bettering the lives of American descendants of chattel slavery. Okay, so and once again, I support them all. All right, so yeah, it's causing a lot of ruckus. A lot of ruckus. People is losing political positions. Boom. Listen. Phew. And now the white people have caught on. OMG. The white folk has caught on. Let me say white tea because you know they hear certain words they won't come and knock your channel down whatever. But the white tea people has caught on and now they like tether. What's tether? Okay, I wouldn't be surprised you start hearing tether from them. And they have also realized the games of Pan Africans, which is first, second, and third generation of Black, you can say Black immigrants who many of them 99.9%, many of them 99.9% cosplay as American descendants of chattel slavery. Okay, one second. Sure, I looked at that video and got thrown off. Okay, so yeah, it's causing people to lose political positions and ooh, child, it's shaking up some stuff. Okay, it's shaking up some stuff. All right, so let's get into the talk because I don't want to be on here too long tonight. I posed a question: should we change Black History Month to another name? I think so. I think so because Black again is too broad. All right, now, okay, and I talked about how I support all the ADOCS people, and we should look out for those Pan Africans who are trying to turn us against each other. No, don't support Tyreek. Support your vet. Don't support Salon. Support that ain't none of your business if you Pan African. It's none of your business. Why you even got something to say about it? You're a Pan African, go and do Pan African stuff. My goodness. All right, so I was looking at my screen earlier. I lost the video. I don't know where it went. But the young lady, I don't know her ethnicity, but she She sung a song and her jingle, I don't think she was purposely making a jingle, or maybe she was. But she sung something about Dr. Pepper is good and nice, baby, baby. Child, sister got paid 2 million to him for that jingle. Now you got everybody making jingles. I said, OMG, that is too funny, but I am happy for her. And that girl about to have her something nice and beautiful to squeeze up on. Um, 2 million for that jingle. Now I was looking at the video, right? And a lot of people don't know content about content creation. They didn't give any credit to the content creator. Never mind. I ain't gonna go deep into that right there. Let's not worry about that. I happened to see the content creation and I was like, okay, it's pretty good. All right. So, I wrote some things down that I'm gonna touch up on because I want to try to go fast, breeze through this, and do as not do so many side notes. Before I get into my talk, I want you to remember, and I always say this because when I was on Chat GPT and I was asking about DJing and all that kind of stuff, guess what they were saying? They were saying that DJing and turntable scratching was created by DJ Herc. And I mean, they gave them all credit. You hear me? And I had to correct ChatGPT and say, well, listen, according to history, DJing and turntable scratching predates hip hop. Then it came back and it corrected itself and said, oh, right, it does. Then I typed, who invented it? Who founded it? DJing and turntable scratching and toasting. Grand Wizard, a young 13-year-old ADOCS, DJing, ADOCS, toasting, ADOCS. They basically, if I didn't know any better, had given all the credit to DJ Herc for inventing DJing, turntable scratching, and toasting. And the break something they call it, the little spin they put on it, where they scratch one record and then the other or whatever. But the elements of hip hop is the creation founded. Oh shucks. Uh-oh. Hold on, let me turn this. Oh child. Dang. Is the elements and creation founded by American descendants of shadow slavery. That is really disgusting that they would try to credit the inventions and foundings of something that belonged to the ADOCS people to other ethnic groups. Even breakdancing. That's something our people was doing way before those people came here. Okay, way before it's documented. So always remember, my people, DJing and turntable scratching and toasting predates hip hop. Those are elements created by ADOCS people. Okay? Remember that. When they get to talking about we created hip hop, the elements of hip hop, three elements of the five all the elements of hip hop was our stuff. But I'm just saying, the main ones, DJing and turntable scratching and toasting, honey, that's all of ours. Okay. All right, let's roll into MCing. That's all of ours. The first MC. So anyway, let's continue. Um, we still have ADOCS I mean, we still have first, second, and third generation of immigrants claiming to be us and speaking on our behalf. I've seen a few videos of these first, second, third generation of immigrants or basically cosplaying us. It's mainly, hold on. Yeah, it's mainly first, second, and third generation of immigrants that's able to cosplay us. The other ones who come here, who not born here, they can't so much pull it off. But the ones that's born here, uh, they can pull it off. Okay. But as I said in the last upload, we can sense it, we can feel it that they're trying. We just don't sense that ADOCS spirit in them. You know what I mean? I know I can tell if I'll have some type of suspicion. It's like they're trying too hard. You know what I'm saying? I can just tell. And when I get to talking a little bit further along, I have I think I got about 5 ways to spy an imposter, ethnic imposter. We're gonna talk about that as I move along. And you can spy them now if you're paying attention and listening. I'm gonna tell you this right here, and then I'm gonna go into the next topic. One way you can spy them is because their heart is not in it, undivided. Myself, I have no immigrant lineage at all. So when I'm talking about ADOCS and the branches of ADOCS, FBA and ADOS and all that, my heart is in it to the fullest. It's undivided. These are my people. This is what I'm about. I'm not emotionally connected to a immigrant spouse or have bi ethnic children or something like that. Because if the person do, then they're gonna be like, hold on, wait a minute. I have family that's bi ethnic or a spouse that's non ADOCS, and so it offends them. They want to take part, but it offends them that you excluding their people, their loved ones. You see what I'm saying? And so they move kind of iffy. They stutter. They move kind of iffy. And when people stutter and they iffy, you're going to pick up on it. But when they're fully adults and they don't have any emotional connection or ties to, bi ethnic children and we've discussed the position of bi ethnic people, you know, considering we've discussed if they have a parent, of one parent that's born here, raised here, and so forth. We discussed it. But give me a second. Yeah. They they get iffy. Unlike somebody like me. I don't have any immigrant lineage. We just Louisiana, New Orleans strong, Louisiana. And when I'm talking about ADOCS and my people, my heart is all the way in it, undivided, strong. When I hear other people speak like that, I know they don't have any immigrant lineage because they wouldn't speak like that if they did. Another sign of a true ADOCS, let me get into that. I talk about the imposter signs, ethnic imposter signs, but I should have discussed true signs of ADOS people. Their heart is in it undivided and they go hard and strong. Number two, Number two is when they come to the table, they're not playing. They just want to fight for their own specific ethnic group. They don't want to talk about nobody else. They don't want to include anybody else. Hold on. I have these commercials popping up on my station. That's why I have to keep saying, hold on, to get rid of them. But they don't want to talk about anybody else. They don't want to include anybody else. They don't want us to do with anybody else. They just want to focus in on them and their people and making life better for us here in America. Period. They ain't trying to be friends with you. They ain't trying to have no empathy and sympathy or none of that. They don't even want to hear your we ought to work together speech. They've had enough. They've seen you for who you are. They accept you for who you are, and they are ready to move along and push along. That is true ADOS people at heart. There's no question that they are ADOCS. No question. When I hear them talking like that, I go, yeah, that's a true ADOCS right there. Oh, yeah. See, that's like myself. When I used to hear other people stutter, kind of back up like, I don't know about that right there. This is about ADOCS. Yeah, but we have to respect our riders. Some of the people that's riding for us that's not ADOCS. Let's just say FBA because it's very popular right now. We have to respect the FBA, the non-FBAs that's riding for us. I'm like, what do you mean? Hold on, let me take a sip of tea. My dang old tea got cold. We gotta respect the non-FBAs that ride for us. I'm like, what do you mean respect? Of course we got respect. That's wonderful. That's nice that they're riding for us, but do they respect us? Do they respect that we're trying to get something done, in particular for this specific group of people, which is ourselves, because we're tired of being exploited, misused, and abused, even by Black immigrants who come here and focus on their own specific groups and growth. Nah, that's not how it works. You gotta understand. They don't know any better. What? So what are you saying? Who wants to be in a relationship like that? You don't know that you're supposed to respect me? You don't know that you're supposed to respect us? Ooh. All right. Want them videos to play because you know they're coming strike your channel or whatever. But anyways, you're probably better off rather than listening, paying attention to the 5 signs of a ethnic imposter, aka Pan-Africans. You're probably better off knowing the 5 signs of a true ADOT. You can say FBA because it's popular, it's popping right now. That's the group that's popping the most under ADOCS, American Descendants of Chattel Slavery. So it's better for you to know the 5 signs of true hearted foundational Black Americans. Number 1, they go hard, undivided for their people. When I say they go hard, they focus, zone in strictly on FBA, and that's it. Number 2, they don't want to be bothered with anybody or anything that doesn't concern foundational Black American progress in this country, the betterment of our people. Number 3, They are not looking to be friendly, to make relations with other groups anymore, to have relations with them on no type of level. Period. They're done. They've seen and heard enough, and they are done. Moving forward. Number 4, hold on, this commercial. Number 4, hold on, okay. Number 4, they are, let's see. Number 1 is they focused on strictly FBA, undivided, wholeheartedly. Number 2, they not concerned with anything outside of foundational Black American concern. What I say number 3 was? Number 3, they're not trying to have no relationships or anything, ties, connections to any other ethnic group because they realize what they're about and they have accepted what those people are truly about and moved along. They're not looking to have no empathy and sympathy for you, with you, none of that. All right. Number 4 it would be they don't really want to have anything to do with well, I'm not gonna say that. Hold on, let's see. I keep it at that for now. 3 of those, okay? Because then if I go into number 4, emotional ties or whatever like that, I don't want to go too, because that's going to go into a whole nother topic. I don't want to go that far into the topic of that. Realizing true-hearted foundational Black Americans among you. That's not a hard thing to do. Okay. And by the way, you have integration minded foundational Black Americans. That's true. Foundational Black Americans, no immigrant, but they have a mindset of an integrated mindset, and they feel that integration is a good thing. Okay, we have some of our people that's on that. Okay, they feel like life would be better if everybody sort of mixed up. They have no problem with the history, the ills of what white America ills upon the ADOCS people. They want to dismiss it and move forward. We have some full blood FBA people that's on that, okay? And true hearted foundational Black Americans, that's going in for the win-win. They don't want to be bothered with that because it has no purpose. It has no purpose to better the lives of foundational Black Americans here in this country. To be integrated, if it did, we would have already seen progress because we have plenty of them out there that's doing it, and we haven't seen any progress from them. We see them get their so-called wake-up calls that remind them that you Black, you're not one of us. So we know that don't benefit our people no kind of ways. But once again, we have some of our people that's on that's in it with an integrated mindset. Okay. Now, moving along. I'm going to talk about next. Oh, okay. Yeah, I do want to touch up on this. So, as I said earlier, Miss Chantell considered ADOCS, American Descendants of Chattel Slavery, the best name to describe our people in this country. Okay. And to me, under the banner of ADOCS, is foundational, Black American lineage, ADOS, and other different branches like Salon and American Freedmen, and also what they call those people, the Abo people, and biracial ADOCS. Okay, listen. Let's talk about the what they call them, so the Abos or whatever, Aboriginals. So Abo. So are the Abo people a branch in my definition? Are they a branch of ADOCS, American Descendants of Chattel Slavery? I do believe they are because of the history. Many full blood indigenous tribes were labeled Negro people. And you know why? I told you this before. They didn't want to give up the land. They didn't want to give up a lot of land. Okay, so a lot of native groups, babe, they were reclassified as Negro people when they were not. We're talking full tribes of full blood natives. We're not talking about black indigenous. We're talking about tribes of full blood natives. And so, um, and so, we know that we have a people here that we know a lot of us carry indigenous uh, ancestry. And when some say they have no African ancestry, they are indigenous people. You cannot deny that because again, there were indigenous tribes, full blood indigenous tribes, reclassified as Negroes because they didn't want to give up the land. It was many tribes reclassified as Negroes because of they didn't want to give up the land. Okay. Um. So they have been absorbed into the Negro people title, and yes, our people blended with them. Okay. Now, when it comes to full blood Native groups, that no, no, I do not believe that exists. No, 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 not full bloods. We are no. The mixing hadn't already took place. It was, but way before the reclassification, all the mixing, the mulattoes hadn't popped out through the way before Africans were brought here, not came, but brought here. The mixing, well, the white tea men were planting seed with the native women. Okay, they were already a heavily mixed population of native tribes. Then brought in the Africans to replace them in slavery, but they didn't end slavery right away for the natives when the Africans was brought in. They actually worked side by side with Africans for a long time during slavery. So they are part of building a foundation of America, most certainly. Okay. Their history have been destroyed by the white tea man. Okay, their people was reclassified as Negroes and stuff, and same stuff they did us. Ooh, child, stay with me tonight. I'm gonna introduce you to something that's gonna trip you out. Okay, and so they are um a part of the ADOCS family. If they don't want to be, that's fine. But actually, if you examine history, yes, they will fall in um the family of ADOCS, American Descendants of Chattel Slavery. Okay, and that's another branch of ADOCS. And let's talk about the biracial branch of ADOCS. Okay, so the biracial branch of, hold on, let me see. The biracial branch of ADOCS, that is for ADOCS people that have one parent that's ADOCS. And I'm going to start saying FBA now, okay, because it's a little bit more popular. So that is one branch of FBA. Wait, what would I say? One branch? My fault. Okay, so the ADOCS have a branch of biracials. Those are people that have one parent that come from ADOCS people. Okay? They got one parent that comes from us. Now, I don't want to go too deep into whether they were raised in America and stuff like that. Not right now, because it's going to take me down a whole nother topic. I'm not trying to do that tonight. So we do have ADOCS people that have one non-Black parent. And this is a thing throughout history, mind you, way back. Remember when the African women were producing children from the white men? Those were ADOCS. One parent that is non-Black, even today, ADOCS, even today, up to today, we have ADOCS that have one ADOCS parent. Okay? So a lot of us been raised in households that have biracial ADOCS. 1 second. Come on now. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna turn this. This mess is just interrupting me constantly. Yeah, so a lot of our households have a member, a biracial member, which is a person with only one ADOCS parent. Okay, so we're not going to act like they didn't exist in our history and and our people for a very long time. We've had biracials, Black biracials. They're not just Black biracials, to be specific, because we're delineating. We need to be very specific about our ethnic group. We've always had ADOCS that was half ADOCS, one ADOCS parent. Okay, so we're going to respect them as a branch to ADOCS. I know I am. Okay, because many of our ADOCS people have siblings that have ADOCS, parents and siblings that have ADOCS. Okay, now when it comes to the bi-ethnic people and the biracial people, I personally consider them bridge people. A true-hearted ADOCS, aka foundational Black American. We don't want biracials or bi-ethnics leading, because they're bi. We want people that have. We want FBAs that have no other emotional connections to other groups, which makes them fully focused on FBA matters. But if you have bi-ethnic or biracials in those positions of leadership, you're going to have to deal with their emotional ties to other groups. And it won't be able to excel really well, because their heart is not truly in it to win it. Like a non-immigrant foundational Black American persons would do. They have no focus on any other groups, no emotional ties to any other groups. So their zoom and focus is strictly on ADOCS, aka FBA, and that's what would make it great. Okay. So I just wanted to highlight that tonight. I know I'm going kind of slow because I am sleepy. I wanted to highlight that the different branches of ADOCS, and we do have branches of uh, biracial ADOCS, Black biracial, but since we've been specific, half ADOCS, okay, and able people. So I used to hear Pan African, a guy who was a biracial, half ADOCS, on the different channels, and the Africans and stuff would be quick, the Pan Africans, to tell him, to dismiss him and tell him, as they like to tell us who we are and all of that. They would be quick to dismiss him and tell him, because he's half ADOCS, that he has no right to speak on ADOCS. He has no right to claim ADOCS. Oh, but most certainly you have no right to tell him that he's not one of us. Because he certainly is. He's a half ADOCS person. See, they want to bring division and tribalism into our mix. This is the Pan Africans, which is a bunch of first, second, and third generation of Caribbeans and Africans cosplaying us, by the way. And some of the Africans and Caribbeans that come over and latch on to the first, second, and third generation of cosplaying Pan African immigrants. I hope you followed all that. They want to sit here and bring division among us. Watch out for them, people. Watch out for them. The Igbo ain't ADOCS. Well, if they want to be, they are. What? You not ADOCS. You ain't nothing but a white person. We're gonna get into that as I continue to talk. We're gonna define what a white person is. Okay, in this country, because anybody that knows the history in this country knows about the one drop rule. The one drop rule was established to protect, for white people to protect their lineage. That is how they protected their lineage, with the one drop rule. Meaning, in order for you to be considered a white person, you had to have you couldn't have any kind of, I mean, how they put it, you can't have any kind of non-white blood. You can't have any kind of non-white blood in order for you to be considered white. So the one drop rule was created for white people to protect their lineage. In our history, you would never hear of a biracial, a half Black person in this country identify as white. Are you hearing this? Listen to what I said. You would never in America hear a biracial person identify as white. It's not allowed. It wasn't allowed. It's still not allowed. Because they were protecting their lineage by establishing the one drop rule. If you had to have, listen, you couldn't have no how they put it? Listen, one drop of Black blood made you Black in this country. And that was to protect the lineage of the white supremacist-minded people in this country. Period, point blank. Understand it. It is what it is. Accept it, understand it. You would have biracials who can call themselves Black, but they could never call themselves white, even though they have a white parent. Okay. So biracials who have a white parent, they can call themselves black because one drop of black blood made you black to them. It was about protecting their lineage. All right, moving along. And that's what we are doing today, right? That's what we are fighting to do today. Now that we realize that's what everybody do, they work as a group, and we just working as a open door, no borders, no If you have a country with no borders and no boundaries and stuff, your ass is gonna get run over. Okay? Matter of fact, are there any countries with no borders? Probably so. And if so, honey, I can guarantee you, whew, that's a problem. Listen. So how did I get there? So anyways, no African, no immigrant have any right to dismiss a half ADOCS person, aka Foundational Black American, from the ADOCS family. You have no right to do that because they are us way more than you'll ever be us. You're not us and we're not you, but they most certainly are us, even with one of their parents being non-ADOS, non-FBA. Yeah, I kept hearing that. I'm like, who the hell are you to tell our half ADOS biracials they're not us? But you want to demand us to accept you as one of us. Okay, moving along. I've heard that ADOCS are tribal people. I heard some of the Pan African channels discussing us as usual. They have nothing else to talk about. They're so bored without us. And listen, if they're not talking about us, they don't get no views. Do you know that? If we're not in their titles, they don't get any views. Mm-hmm. Listen. So I heard some of them saying we were tribal because of the gangs. The gangs kill each other. Black on black crime. But anybody with a common sense knows that there's white on white crime, black on black crime, Asian on Asian crime, so forth. Proximity. Okay? It's just common sense. Just because they have gangs that go at it, it doesn't mean that we're tribal. We're not tribal. Matter of fact, they have blood and Crips now in different states, I'm thinking. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is, let me say this. When men click up, and that's just what men do by nature, they click up and form brotherhoods because they're protectors. In order for them to be protectors, they need to have a brotherhood. It's better for them to have a brotherhood. What if a whole gang show up and you by yourself? No. You have to click up. See, where I'm from in New Orleans, they called it a sect. They were clicked up. You came in our neighborhood and you asking somebody to tell you where somebody else at, big trouble. You think that's a crackhead you gonna pay to scope somebody out in the neighborhood? He clicked up and you don't even know it. He about to go tell a crew. They call this sets where I'm from. Some other groups may call it gangs. Some other groups may call it mobs. Whatever you want to call the click up, it's natural for men to click up in brotherhoods, period. Well, I have a commenter. Paul Pet Sales says you're right about that. They never choose YT to identify, even if they are part Asian. That's right. That is so right. That was the one drop rule in this country. I don't know if you're talking about having a half white parent that's American, But in this country, they asses know they could never call themselves white because white people made it very clear with the one drop rule. If you have any non-white blood, you're not one of us. Paul Patsell say white tea don't accept them fully within their family. Wow. FBA will cause we still have preferences related to skin tone. Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's deep. They don't fully accept them in their families. You know what I noticed that a lot of the biracials, when they growing up around the white side of their families, they don't feel white. They feel like outcasts. And so the white family members begin to try to connect them to black people. And they do their best to try to connect, even though they didn't grow up around other ADOCS. They be trying their best to connect, but unfortunately, sometimes they don't know the culture, and our culture could be a little bit harsh. You gotta have thick skin. And those people don't be having thick skin that was raised by their white side. And so therefore they have a hard time connecting. You know, the biracials that grew up in New Orleans though, shush, they don't play. Okay? They don't no. They don't play that. They will let loose, baby. Okay, they will prove to you. Don't let the skin tone fool you, baby. Don't let the looks fool you. It's just as crazy as the dark skins because they grew up around us in a culture, and so they have thick skin and they know how to handle themselves. But unfortunately, like I said, for the ones that grew up around their white tea relatives, off somewhere in the boondock, off in the suburbs or whatever, they try to fit in, but they don't be knowing. It's hard. Paul Petzel says, I read in New Orleans they used to have their own clubs and organizations. Brown bag test. I don't know about the brown bag testing, but yeah, they still do have the clubs and own clubs and organizations. Yeah. New Orleans was segregated a very long time, but today the white people they be all up in the black culture celebrations in New Orleans. I'm talking they have white women groups there that pay for brothers to come in second line for them. Yes. They be all up in because it used to be segregated. The even the Mardi Gras was segregated. They had the white parades, they had the black parades. Now those white people, child, one time I seen oh, hold on a minute. One time I seen the white girls in the black videos in New Orleans twerking on the telephone poles. I was like, what the hell is that? Now, mind you, New Orleans is a different type of culture. Is some of those people are like Cajuns and different Creoles and Cajuns and all that mixture. Like, they're not white. If you know what I mean. They Creole white, like they mix with Spanish and French and Irish and some of those groups. There's so many subgroups in New Orleans. They it's a lot of different subgroups there. So they're not like the average white people in America. You know what I mean? And then you got races, but New Orleans is more about they hold tight to they racist, but they hold tight to their culture, their subculture. I mean, it's not really like a I hate you thing, but they're not gonna invite your ass in either. Which, ain't nothing wrong with that. Just like FBA is doing right now, we trying to get ourselves together so we can maintain our culture. That's what we're trying to fight for right now. Stop trying to represent us. Stop cosplaying us. No, don't you ain't come and sit at the table, represent your own group. We're trying to get to that point now since we realize, you know. Pepper Sale says there is a reason why we will never have a bill. Uh, hold on. A black president, only biracial, Obama and Kamala. Interesting. That's very, very interesting. I never thought of, I mean, I've thought about that, but I think that Obama did slip through the cracks because he was raised by white people. Very much. He had a white mother, grandparents. He wasn't raised by his black side. I think that very much played a super big role in them voting him in as the president. So let me get back on topic real quick. And um, so yeah. That's we do have half ADOCS people that's a part of our branch. And then I was talking about ADOCS. Oh, they say we tribal. We're not tribal. We regional. And in different parts of the country, we may do things slightly different, not too much, but slightly different. And we have the same type of colloquial dialect. We understand each other in every region. I can go to New York, I can go to West Coast, I can go Northwest, I can go to the South. I understand my people, the ADOCS family, every which way I go. I clearly understand them. Pat Parcell says, everybody trying to be black nowadays. This FBA movement got Caribbeans, and can't see that other word because my dollar sign blocking it, but it have Latinos as well shook. I spoke on that earlier. I said, ooh, Tariq, ooh, this man is listen, he making people lose out on money and mess, okay? Because they're not going to be able to exploit the culture anymore because he got people asking questions and digging into people. Hold on, wait a minute. Are you FBA? Let me check. You can't represent us. Hold on, wait a minute. Are you FBA? We're not about to support you. Dang. Oh yes, he's shaking some things up. Okay. I mean, he's shaking some things up, and he can say he's not the leader, but when the shakeup happens, you know where they're going to go to. Just like I think I heard him say that they blocked him from entering Europe because when they hit a shakeup, you causing us to lose money. That's the kind of stuff that happens. Do you know? I was just reading earlier that I was reading about W.E.B. Du Bois. I wanted to know why were they not allowing him to come back into the country once he left. And it ended up taking me into the history of a lot of activists, artists, and people that shook up things, people that protested and went against the, injustice. And what they would do was tamper with these people's passports. They didn't allow them to travel to get their message out. They didn't want them traveling around and linking up with other people and all that kind of stuff. Okay. You saw what happened with Martin Luther King. He started getting international. That was a no-no right there. Malcolm X, he started going overseas. They're going to start tampering with the people's passports and stuff, not letting them travel and stuff. Okay. But yeah. It's definitely shaking up. It's causing people to lose money because FBAs are wide awoke and they like, we've had enough of you people with this foolishness. And so they're checking credentials. You need to prove that you FBA for this support. Pat Parcell said the thing is we've got a lot of people on code and representing like yourself. FBA is a lineage. No leader that bothers people. But again, when things are being shaken up to this degree, they're gonna go to the root. They blocked him from traveling, so that's a form of going to the root. You know what I'm saying? So, um, when it's controversial, you just have to be ready for the pushback, like blocking you from traveling and stuff, to certain, well, not all places, but to some places. Um, yeah, that's what it is. So they were saying that some of the Pan Africans were saying that we were tribal, and I'm making it clear that ADOCS, aka Foundational Black Americans, are far from tribal. As a full blood, no immigrant FBA, I can travel, and I have already traveled all around the country and related to my people. It's the same around the country. Soul food eaters. We speak Ebonics. You might have a little slight difference in the speech, the dialect, but for the most part, with our vernacular, we can understand each other. Our colloquial dialect is pretty much, we can understand each other from region to region. And again, just because gangs shoot each other, that's called proximity violence. And that exists across the board, across the color line. It exists in white tea people communities, Spanish communities, Asians, and all that. That exists across the color line. So we're not tribal because of gang related violence. We have the same colloquial dialect, vernacular. We like the same food, soul food. That's a part of our culture. Uh, you can go read about the Great Migration. We took our culture from the South, wherever which way we went, and we continue to maintain it and build it and establish more and more of our culture, like in the Harlem Renaissance, establish so many foundings and creations and art upon our culture all around the country. So we got the same colloquial dialect. We all around the country. We soul food, excuse me, all around the country. What else? We pretty much have a particular rhythm to our dancing. I'm gonna explain that a little further. We have good dancing skills. It's not African like. We worship. Pretty much all of us are Christian. You can say we. Hold on, I got a call. I'll read your comment in a second. Pretty much we Christian worshipers, majority of us, with few dominations like um, Baptist, Methodist. I wouldn't say a lot of us Protestants, but anyway, what else? We have same worship, same former institutions. We our schooling would be on the same track around the globe. HBCUs, our institution and stuff. It's no difference. We different from the ones up north or the ones west. We're not tribal, period. And I like that. Let's read the comments right quick. Paw Pet Cell says, there's got to be something spiritual about it. Ooh, I like that. Most certainly, it is. How can so many FBA think the same way, like not in the streets protesting? Something about that. Times are changing. Yeah, times are changing. Psychologists call it the collective consciousness. When people connect this way, this generation ain't playing. I know that's right. I know that's right. Now, I happen to be a biblical believer, a Bible believer, and I most certainly truly believe that it's spiritual. I could go into a little bit of that tonight. For me, it's gonna take me to a whole nother. But for me, I'm gonna say it real quick. I ain't gonna go too deep though. For me, I happen to believe it's a moment that our people, we have to take our eyes off of the white tea people. Because when we go to them for anything, we make them our God, and they're not. Do you understand what I'm saying? But when we turn back to our Creator, and that's where we worship and that's where we focus on, there's power in that. That's how biblical I am. Now, not all biblical believers don't think the same. They don't, all of us don't think the same. But that's how Miss Chantell thinks. You got to take the power away from, okay? The only way a person can think they have power over you is if you're letting them think that way. You're giving them a reason because you're asking. Do you know food was freely given to the whole world? In the beginning, food reproduces itself. When it falls from the tree, the fruit, it reproduces itself. Take the food from the ground, throw the seeds back down, it reproduces itself. Even if you don't have seeds, you can take the compost nowadays and put it in the ground and it's going to reproduce itself. Food is supposed to be for free. I once heard Obama and a few other people who were in high positions say that America was the great experiment. What the hell happened to free food? That's number one. Like, what? Why are we paying for food? It's free. Long as there's plants, long as there's trees around and some vegetation, this stuff produces its own self. What the heck is going down? You see what I'm saying? Let me read the Pat Parcell says, real talk, Miss Chantell, as Randy Sokel would say, shout out RBR. Oh, Randy Sokel. Yeah. I remember who that is. Yeah. It really goes really, really deep. And it is spiritual. It most definitely spiritual. The only way somebody can feel powerful to you is if you allow them to feel that. You don't, no, we don't need them to eat. Do you know people in biblical days, they got fresh water by digging wells? That's what you do for fresh water. You dig wells and you purify the water. You boil it or do whatever it is. They have other methods besides boiling it where you can purify the water. So now you have what you actually need, food and water. As long as you got seed and water, what else do you actually need? The other stuff is what you want, but your needs to survive, to exist, is food and water. And that was given to us. That was God given, freely God given to everybody. But when people take control of the food growth and the water system, you can't dig a well unless you digging on somebody's property, all that kind of stuff. Sure enough, that's an experiment. But I'm gonna stop at that conversation right there. That's not for YouTube. Not for YouTube. Okay. I'm gonna stop at that right there. So let me get back on topic. YouTube topics. We're far from tribal as ADOCS, American Descendants of Slaves, with different branches, and the different branches being ADOS, FBA, Salon, American Freedmen, ABLE, if they want to be a part, and our half ADOCS people. So we're not tribal. Okay. Moving along. Let me discuss Pan Africans right quick. These people are truly confused. They are truly confused. I don't understand. If you're Pan African, why are you concerned with ADOCS people and the different branches of ADOCS people? I don't understand why you would be concerned with them. Even if you see them as an enemy, anti-Pan African, it's okay. They don't agree with you. So you have to move along and continue to do whatever it is you're doing. But Pan Africans are so confused. They rip each other apart when they claim it to be Pan African. Pan means you're supposed to be unifying. They don't even know how to unify. They rip each other apart. And let me tell you one thing I noticed about Pan Africans. They will act like they about Pan African and unifying. But I tell you, the minute they become upset with any African or Caribbean people, they're going to drag them for filth. You haven't seen the videos of Dr. Small dragging the Africans for filth, but he'll say, we African. But then turn around and call the Africans all kind of dumb people who haven't progressed or anything. I'm like, oh my gosh. How can you talk so much crap about them and say we're dim and say, oh my gosh. That's what Pan Africans do. They'll say, oh no, we all Africans try to Africanize us or make us all flat black. But the minute they get agitated by them immigrants, they're going to drag them. I don't know if that's confusion on their behalf or just conniving behavior. Okay. And once again, they don't know nothing about being Pan Africans because all they do is rip each other apart and smear campaign each other. The ones that's online, that's what they do to each other. um, Let me see. Okay, so I wanted to touch up on a Pan African I heard up on the channel one time. On the channel yelling like a big Muppet mouth, nonsense Muppet mouth. Why are you supporting FBA? And he stole FBA from ADOCS, and you're dumb for supporting him, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, shouldn't you be concerned with Pan Africanism stuff? Who are you to tell somebody, try to sway somebody to the right or to the left? You're anti ADOCS, you're anti FBA. So why are you even speaking on it? When I don't like an organization or a movement, I don't be bothered with them. Especially if I claim to be somebody that's an activist and working in the community. How are you going to be an activist and working in the community when your eyes is focused on other groups and not your own group? Making things better. So this person likes to push I'm here to expose you fake motherfuckers. No, you're here to be an agent of chaos. That's all. Nothing more. Smear campaigning and an agent of chaos. Mind you, to other Pan Africans. That is not Pan African. That's some crazy stuff. But this is online stuff, so you know how that goes. You can be a drunk on the street and just get you a phone and pop your channel open and start babbling your mouth. So everybody needs to be taken serious to heart. I come and get my spin on the whole ADOCS and ADOS stuff. I mean ADOCS and FBA, what I think about it. And that's that. It's just my personal opinion. It doesn't mean it's concrete, factual, and actual. It's just my opinion. I've always been a lover of history. Since I was a little girl, I used to ask my grandmother. Her mother's mother was full blood Cherokee Native. So I used to ask her, Grandma, tell me about your family or whatever. And my grandma would say, Girl, I ain't talking about the people that dead and gone and whatever. I used to ask her so much, she used to get irritated. My dad used to always be like, Why you want to know about that? Why you want to know about that? But now, since he's older now, he's 70 something, he want to talk about that all day. Want me to remember all of it too. Now, remember, your grandpa was a famous blues singer in New Orleans, and you know, you got to remember. I'm like, I got it. So I've always been interested in history, all kinds of history, mainly my own type of people history first. So when I get on here, I just give my opinion. It's just my opinion. It's not concrete, hard, factual, and actual evidence. So, and I'm not trying to, you know, give people an angle to see things from. This is just my personal opinion. And I'll always tell people, hey, look, go look it up yourself too. Go, maybe you might comprehend different from me. So go look it up yourself as well. So moving along, moving along. Oh, and let me say this. The Pan African person was also saying, how you gonna support Tyreek and you don't even know what he's about? He's a Christian, this and this. And I'm like, you don't know his intentions. And I'm like, okay, so you say you a lady that's political. That's number one. Do anybody know the true intentions of politicians? No, you don't. That's the number one rule you should have in voting. You should understand in voting. You do not know the true intentions of politicians. You are voting for them based on what they're saying, their message, their stance. You are not voting on them because you know their heart. You know their true intentions. Lady, are you crazy? You don't know their true intentions. Many of them, look at the guy with Trump, the new mayor in New York. He started saying, and that mess was hella funny. He started yelling, he gonna make everything free for the low income poor citizens in New York. Oh, that was hilarious. I was like, oh my, everybody ran and voted for that man. Everybody ran out and voted for him. He was like, I'm giving you free daycare and I'm giving you free cars. I'm gonna give you free rent for a year. I'm gonna give you free gas for a year. That shit was hella funny. Everybody ran out and voted for him. I would have voted for him too. He did that. And so the rich people there, they was all agitated. Oh no, you not. And the city folk like, what he's talking about? He gonna make everything free. Oh no, the hell he not. What is he talking about? Everybody was going berserk. The rich people, the business owners was like, I'm leaving New York forever. As soon as that man won, he was talking trash about Trump. As soon as he won, I say about the next week, he was kissing Trump's ring. Oh my gosh. But guess what? He won the seat. He won. Listen, nobody knows the true intentions of a politician. We should all know they lie. They do what they have to do to get in there, especially if they really, really want the seat. They're going to say whatever the hell it takes to get in there. Okay. Obama hid that he was friends, longtime friends with Farrakhan. People's gonna hide things to get the seat, okay? And so you never know a person's true intentions. You're voting for them based on their stance, based on I guess you're resonating with them on something they did or said or whatever, but you don't know their true intentions. I don't know Tariq's true intentions or whatever, but his message, I resonate with it. And then until he do something different, become a turncoat or something, then I'm like, oh shit, no, I don't mess with that. Okay. But I support all my ADOCS people that's working towards bettering the lives of American descendants of chattel slavery in this country, period, point blank, until they show different. So, yeah, that's Pan African gibberish, though. You don't know his intention. Oh, really? You know politicians' intentions? Girl, you sound crazy. Calling somebody dumb, girl. You sounding dumb. So, let me see, because I wrote some things down. Okay, so I came across some FBA channels operating as though they are one of us, but subliminally, they're not. They are doing things that goes against FBAs. Everything FBA say, for instance, we built America. This person who claimed to be FBA, and by the looks, probably not. This person puts out, well, um, yeah, some Spanish quisadores from Mexico actually were the first Black people in America. They came from Mexico, the Black ones. And they were the first Black people in America with African ancestry. Okay, what's your point? You're saying that you're saying that FBAs were not the foundational Black men. Were they enslaved? Or are they just the first Black people to come to with African ancestry to come to? It's stuff like that. And that particular person puts out a lot of stuff. That particular person also pushes um manosphere content mixed in with foundational Black American content, which I'm not on. You can't hate the anti FBA woman and at the same time support FBA delineation and stuff. It just ain't make no sense. Never. It's YouTube. That's all I can say. It's YouTube. Pat Parcell says, I'm wondering what's going to happen in 48 hours. TPS temporary protective status, February the 3rd, ends for 200,000 Haitians. And on February 13th, it ends for what? For Ethiopians? Get, girl, I knew that was coming. I don't know if this a girl. Look at me. I'm sorry. Forgive me for that. Forgive me for that. I knew. I said, see them Ethiopians. I think he's gonna go for them too. But listen, unless courts blank them a lifeline, give them a lifeline. Wow, wow. I said that was going to happen to myself because when I was looking at it, because he's doing whatever he can to get rid of majority of you know who. Oh, you a dude? Okay. I got all comfortable, like, girl, girl, wait. But I knew that was coming because he's breaking off a lot of people where the war has ended in their countries. There is no more war. They kept getting extensions from prior presidents, but there is no more war and stuff. And we at a time now in this country, they at a time now in this country, the white sea people, where they want to get rid of as many of you know who as possible. Now you do know they're not going after the white immigrants like that. But them other ones, hmm, we try to tell them this shit was race based, boo. And they wasn't hearing. They wasn't hearing. But anyway, now they know. This country didn't even want us here. They try to get rid of ADOCS. What the hell make you think that? Okay, here's the scoop. I'm gonna make this shorter because I was getting to this, but I'm gonna talk about it right now. AI boom, the AI and robotic boom has kicked in this country, meaning all the jobs and stuff that's possible that can be fulfilled by AI and robotic automation, robotic is happening now. A lot of warehouses are automated, robotic. A lot of jobs that Trump went in there and cut from the government jobs and stuff, all of those jobs were dismissed. The people were dismissed. They gave them fat checks now. They can't complain. But those jobs were dismissed because AI took them over. Not just because he wanted to fire people. No, no, no. Those jobs were being fulfilled by AI. Many warehouses, many even car part, what they call it, manufacturing companies and stuff. Automation is already kicked in and people haven't realized it. It's moving fast. I'm telling you, in my last upload, I said in 5 years, probably not even five, give it 3 or 4. I say 3 because Trump said he's going to make this place AI robotic, AI robotic type of place like the Jetsons. You know what I'm saying? You know how the Jetsons was? If you don't know what that is, look it up on YouTube. The Jetson TV show or cartoon show. And he was saying he gonna make it like that. And if AI and robotics are taking over all the jobs, universal income is coming in because people are not going to be able to work. The jobs are taken over by robots and AI. So I was watching Elon interviews and stuff, and the lady asked him, he seemed like he doesn't lie. The lady asked him, y'all got to watch these interviews with him. She asked him, is it true that AI can possibly take over and take control itself? Is it dangerous like that? Like people think? And he said, yeah. Excuse me, sir? She was like, what? And I was like, what? He said, yeah. Yeah, it's possible. Okay. All right. So, anyways, China is already moving in. Oh! I forgot about that subject. Paul Pet Cell says, I mean, for Haitians, they've been on TPS for 15 years because of that earthquake. Honey, I think they've probably been on it longer, huh? Either way it go, my point of saying all this is they're getting rid of as many brown people as possible because we're going into universal income, and those people are trying to take back control and make their country white again. Make America great again means make America white again. White run, white control, and all that. Okay, if you don't know. And um they only he laid it out. Trump said he only want people here that doesn't need welfare, that's college educated. He said all of this. Like, are they not listening? He said he want people here that's college educated, that's not on need welfare system, that's gonna contribute to the country rather than, take from it. He wants certain kinds of people. He's told these people he think that they come from shithole countries. Now listen, I don't blame him for what he's doing with that lady Il Nana. I call her Il Nana. She's a trip. The Il Nana Umar. Il Nana, she reminds me of a woman that, a girl that'd be like, I put my finger in your face, the MCA. You know what I'm saying? Talking trash to the other rapper. That's how she dealt with the president, the leader of the nation. Listen, Miss Chantell got some spicy in her too, but I got better sense than to talk to the leader of the nation like a old geezer, a child. Girl, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing? And that, all that's going on right now is because of her mouth, her disrespect to the president. They would have never went because they supported Trump. But then she got cocky with it and disrespectful. You don't disrespect somebody to the face who in that position. You have to know how to move quietly. There's a lot of people around him that don't like him, but they damn sure ain't gonna get up in his face and talk all kind of shit like that because he's going to respond. And I think she messed it up for a whole lot of people, unfortunately. And don't be blaming that shit on us now. They want to be out here talking about it's it's FBA fault. No, it's not. You better look at Il Nana. Y'all should have been demanding that she take her ass down there and apologize. Y'all should have been demanding her to go kiss the ring. You gonna get your ass down there and kiss that ring. But now look, he put on speed dial. Ice, go and get them. Get them all. Just get them out. Okay. Pat Parcell say, I guess in Haitians' defense, those YT organizations stole, including Red Cross, stole most of that donated money. Donated money from what, to Haiti? Yeah, I mean, the AI robotic industry is in full effect, and cheap labor is out the door. Cheap labor is a wrap. It's a wrap. It's done. They're not needed. And that's how come you see them trying to get the undocumented, all those people out, and because cheap labor is not a thing anymore. I'm gonna talk about the African boom that I believe that's gonna happen because of AI robotics. It's gonna be an African boom. In Haiti too, I think so as well. The New World Order. Let me get to that real quick. All right, I'm going down the list. I need to go quicker because it's already 2 hour talk. Time go by fast. Uh yeah, so anyways, I was telling you guys about they got FBA channels up that seem to be going against, subliminally going against FBA's um, claims. But we got to remember that that's a part of history, our history. Every movement our people had, it was always infiltrated by those pretending to be us. So we just have to stay eye aware, eyes open. And every movement our people had, always infiltrated by people who was pretending to be a part of us and pretending to be down with us. But you'll know when you see them because they subliminally go against what we're about, our claims and all. Okay, even try to bring division. You can't be a Manosphere channel and FBA channel. That doesn't even equal sense. That tells me a whole lot right there. All right, Pepe Paul said, Paul Petzel says, yes, those NGOs stole the money, didn't get to the people. Wow. And you know what? When it comes to those organizations, how would they, how would they even, yeah, I'm quite sure they likely stole the money. Like, Who they gonna answer to? But somebody gonna call over there and be like, hey, the money that was granted to help the Haitians, we're not seeing a penny of it. Who they gonna call and say that to? It's an international organization too? Oh my gosh. Mm-mm, I can imagine they ain't getting none of the money. Yeah, 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 I can imagine that. Paul Pet Sales says, what do you think about rapper Nicki Minaj paying 1 million contribution in a 15,000? She paid that stuff that Trump was talking about? 15,000 processing fee for an American green card resident. She can afford it. She doesn't want to go back. She already stated she doesn't want to go back to her country, and she can afford to pay it. So if it's worth it, which it is for her, she doesn't want to go back there for nothing. You should have seen her face. She was damn near, when she was talking to the young man, she was damn near crying. And she was like, you don't want to go back there. No, you don't want to live there. So she can most certainly afford it. So she should, yeah, she should get it. If she got it, then she good. But I can tell you this much. I think a part of her deal was to be the puppet replacement for Candace Owens. It seemed like she's the replacement for Candace Owens. Yeah. Yeah, though she lucky she can even afford to do it. Good thing for her, because if not, she would be over there back in her country. Now I think she might have some issues, they say, with her husband having a record and all, and probably have to pay that same amount for him. Mm. But that's not too much. She probably can afford it and still have a whole lot of money left over. $1 million contribution, oh yeah, she can afford that. The 15K processing fee, she can afford that. Well, they're good. Yeah, they good. Real quick, let me say this. How to identify sneaky Pan Africans. Number one, well, how to identify sneaky conniving Pan Africans. Number one, they will all, hold on. Let me run down my Pan African. I spy sneaky conniving Pan African. 5 signs to identify those kind of Pan Africans that's sneaky and conniving. Number one, they will always be trying to bridge us with others, FBAs. They always try to bridge us like, no, but we need allies. You know what I'm saying? We gotta have allies. What about the allies? Hmm. Number two, because you're a Pan African. Number two, they will try to get us to understand the Black immigrants don't know any better. Hold on, see, but they don't know the history. So we have to be a little bit more lenient with them and understanding and teach them better because they don't know. Oh, really? Calling us all kind of names, huh? Uh-huh. So, number three, they are truly Debbie Downers, by the way. OMG. Let me tell you something. Pan Africans can be some serious Debbie Downers. They will rain on your parade. They will rain on your parade. They will rain on your parade, and they also talk down on our people. This is how you can spy these people. When I say they will rain on your parade, they are Debbie Downers. Debbie Downer is a term used for a person that's always freaking negative. If you say, I'm getting married, you know, a lot of people divorce and within 1 year. If you say, I just graduated, you know, degrees don't get you nowhere today. You know what I'm saying? Pan Africans are like that. And then not only are they true Debbie Downers, um they speak ill of our historical leaders and grassroots leaders and workers. They speak ill of them. They're very just they speak ill of our people who have worked on a betterment of our communities in the past. Like MLK, for example, he ain't do nothing. He this and he that. Okay. They also speak ill of our history and culture, especially our culture, the black culture, the FBA culture, the black culture. It's trifling as hell. It's this, it's that. They don't never say anything good about our culture, right? Until they want to, go at it with an African and make the African feel bad. Because I told you they so conniving. They act like they're friends with the Africans, and we should all Africanize and move to Africa. But as soon as the African agitate them, they go hard on the African, make them feel like shit. Okay, that's what they do. They jump from side to side, straddle the fence. They are sneaky and conniving. Okay, so that's another sign. Number three, they Debbie Downers. They rain on everybody parade. Nothing. They just so negative to the hundredth power. They're negative people. Okay. Number four, they bring division to our groups. They bring division to our groups. Listen, I don't care what's going on between Tariq, Yvette, or anybody else. They're all ADOCS, American descendants of chattel slavery with different agendas, different grassroots movements, or lineage-based identity identifiers. They all working for the betterment of the ADOCS people, American descendants of chattel slavery in this country. That's what they're working for the better of, the people. Long as they're doing that, it doesn't, I support all of them. Why wouldn't I not support all of them? Until they turn coat and start talking something crazy, I want to support them. They're working for the betterment of ADOCS people, period, around in this country. But Pan Africans will try to come in and turn us against each other. Don't support Tyreek because he this. And your fed, she ain't nothing but a this. And. That's personal stuff. It's personal stuff. I'm at the mature age now that I don't entertain bullshit. Listen, if it ain't gonna get us nowhere, don't talk to me about it. Period. Okay? So, anyways, they will try to come in and turn us against each other like that. That's another sign. Number four, they bring division. They are agents of chaos, is what I like to call them. They are agents of chaos. They will do a campaign smear on your ass in a second. They sneak in conniving now. They'll rub up on you like a dog rubbing on your leg, like rub my fur. But they're sneaky. Number five, the telltale sign of all. Their heart is not in it all the way. This is how you'll tell that they are Pan African. They're undivided. I mean, their heart is not in it all the way on an undivided level. Pan Africans, um, usually they are immigrant themselves or have some type of emotional connection to, wow, it is pretty late, some type of emotional connections to other immigrants. So they pretending to be FBA and about that, but in actuality, they there to either infiltrate, spy, or they there for some type of conniving reason. They're not to be trusted, but you'll be able to know them because their heart is not in it. Their heart is not truly like FBA all the way. That's how you know a true FBA. They zone in on everything FBA. They don't want to be bothered with any damn thing else. That's it. Period. Point blank. Ain't no hate, none of that kind of stuff. They just don't want to be bothered with all that. They want to zoom in on FBA and making FBA moves and bettering the people in this country. That's under the description of American descendants of chattel slavery. That's it. That's they don't bring no other kind of of ethnic groups into the mix because they only concerned about their own ethnic group development. And that does not equal hatred. That equals we got to get our shit together or else. Okay. So that's the 5 signs of Pan African people among us. Okay. I want you to ponder this. Ask yourself this question. Why did the new owner of Essence, buy, well, he bought up all of the ADOCS, American Descendants of Slavery, traditional hair care companies, our traditional events and festivals like Essence and some other ones, and he tried to infuse Essence Festival with African and Caribbean stuff. Of course, he's Pan African. But the question is, it didn't work, by the way, he flunked. The question I want you to ask yourself is, why the owner of Essence bought up all of ADOC's traditional hair care companies and events and festivals? Why is he buying our cultural stuff that we hold dear to? It's a part of our history. Why? What is he up to? Is the question. Okay. If you see somebody make a move like that, they're making moves in the background. Listen, you see all of those black celebrities and I Show Speed included, all of our black celebrities and influencers, they're all going to Africa, showing pictures of themselves in Africa and all that kind of stuff. They're being paid to come and promote Africa, but it doesn't mean they love Africa. They're being paid to promote. But unfortunately, I don't think they understand that in history, it's going to be used against them. Look, all of them came to, when a book is written about you, you went to Africa and promoted Pan-Africanism that we all move over there. W.E.B. Du Bois, he went to Africa. I don't think he ever promoted people to go to Africa, but at some point he probably got tired of living in America and dealing with this racist system. And he needed a break and he went to Africa. He was already full-fledged activist and all that kind of stuff, shaking up everything, making a lot of noise. And when he went to Africa and tried to come back, they denied him entry. I told you they messed with the passports of activists and stuff like that. They denied him entry. He couldn't come back right away. But the thing is, he left. And when he got to Africa, like all of them that go there, they turn back around and come right back to this racist society. Very harsh racist society. So you gotta ask yourself, what the hell is going on over there? That these people are turning around, coming back over here. Okay? But in his he may not have liked it when he got there. He might have thought, wait a fucking minute. I don't like this and this and this and this. And he may have had more complaints about Africa than America. And tried to return and couldn't. The point being is that in his history books, not his history books, but in his story, there's going to be talk of him. There is talk of him moving to Africa. But he tried to come back and he wasn't allowed to come back. What's happening, FBA Convo? He tried to come back and he wasn't allowed to come back. So when he was trying to come back, it tells us that he didn't like something about Africa. This is a lot of them, by the way. They leave and come right back to this racist society. So he tried to come back wasn't allowed to come back, that tells us it was more troubling over there than here. If he coming back to this racist society that he had to get away from. But we don't know what it was because he didn't come back and speak on it. He wasn't allowed to come back. He had to try to fight to come back. He wasn't allowed to come back. Okay. And so this is what's going on with a lot of our celebrities and influencers. In the history, they're going to be used to say the connection, all these celebrities and influencers are connected to Africans. You like Africanizing yourself when you do it. It's not just a visit. You're going over there as a celebrity taking pictures and promoting Africa. Don't fucking play with my mind talking about it's just a visit. It's not just a visit. You're going over there promoting Africa, come to Africa, come visit, showing pictures and all that kind of stuff. And basically you're influencing the people to go to Africa and visit Africa. Don't talk about the citizenship part. I think that's a major trick. And they had better be careful with that passport shit or that citizen stuff going on. They had better step back from that and throw that in the trash. Because let me tell you something. These white people, they don't just want them immigrants out. I know I'm about to sound like the immigrants, trying to fearmonger, but I'm not. This is what I'm saying. Hold on, I'm jumping subjects. Let me stay on this one right quick. I Show Speed Show, whatever they call his show. Oh my gosh, wait a minute. It was super cringy. Oh, when I say this shit was super cringy, it was terrible. I couldn't even watch that more than 2 videos. I'm like, he was making all those faces, those girls throwing their coochie to his face. I'm like, what the heck? The only talent I saw was a young lady acting like a robot. I mean, I would have gave her the hookup. The rest of them, like, get your coochie out the face. What is the matter with you? God dang it. Girl, put on them bikinis and go stand up there in front of his face and twirl a little. Oh my gosh. That boy looked so irritated being there. He looked like he was exhausted being there. He looked tired. He looked irritated and agitated by the whole visit. It was so cringy. The young man ran up to him, hugging him. I love you. I love you. Overacting, and he jumps out the car and I love you too. I love you too. And they hugging and he making faces. Oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. I couldn't even watch it no more. It was super embarrassing. That young and one girl I watched, she said she think he was trolling them, and I have to agree. He was trolling them. It was ridiculous, man. I said, I can't watch it. I can't watch it. So, anyways, let me tell you something. With people like with his channel, he's a young brother and his audience is in the millions. He has an extremely high volume of followers. Usually, when you have a high volume of followers on YouTube, a platform like YouTube, they're going to buy your channel. And when they buy your channel, they're going to keep you as the face because they buy those channels for multi-millions of dollars, baby. Because, on YouTube, it's about advertisement and all that kind of stuff. And if you can gain a following, YouTube will buy your channel to advertise to your people, your audience. But they're going to keep you as the face. They did this with this Asian girl who was a makeup artist that everybody used to watch. And then a lot of people learn how to do makeup from her. Some people are skilled with makeup. They learn how to do with makeup from her. And you know how people are, it's race-based. Like, so they will have black girls do their makeup that they learn from her. And all the black women follow that black girl. They will have white girls do the makeup that they learn from her. And all of the white women follow that. Because, we have different skin textures and stuff. I don't want to watch somebody cut hair and he's white. Like, we don't have that hair texture. Why the fuck would I watch his video? I need to see a black person cutting hair. You know what I'm saying? That's how they go. But anyway, I show speed, whatever. He it's not race based because he's a gamer. So it's just all kind of gamers out there. It's different. It's international level when it comes to the gaming. I don't know if he international. I would assume he is because if he has a super large amount following of people. So I'm thinking he's on international level. And let me tell you, I believe they bought his channel as an influencer and they kept him as the face. And when he went to Africa, they have him touring all around and doing stuff. But when he went to Africa, they hyped it up so effing much. The Pan Africans paid him to hype that up so much. And it seemed like he was forced to do it. That's how he looked at the videos and stuff. Like he was exhausted. He didn't want to do it. He was forced to do it. He was forced to amp up Africa. Talking about he African and all that shit. Boy, go sit down. Your parents didn't say you're not African. Go sit down. But it seemed like he was forced to do that. Pan Africans are paying people a lot to come over. Look at our celebrities. They're paying all of our You think the people doing that shit for free? You done lost your mind if you think them people get on an airplane and going to Africa, which is nothing there, for free. That's not a free trip, sweetheart. That's a promotional trip. And again, iSpeed channel, his channel targets young people over here and other races of people to influence them to go to Africa because it's so great, which according to his videos, it didn't work. It flunked, okay? I don't think nobody's going to be going there. This was totally embarrassing, okay? It was cringy. But then you have a lot of celebrities going over there getting citizenship. And I think that it's a trick. I think that they had better be careful because I'm going to say this. They've been trying to get with the first ACS trip where they took those people to Liberia and took them over to other places and stuff, talking about we're going to send you other places because they did not want to see Black people rise up and excel in this country. They want to be the only leaders, okay? So they was bringing these people, our people, to other nations and all of that kind of stuff to grow their settlements there, which they always ended up returning back here. They still working on that. Pan-Africans white people, white sea people, still working on removing majority of our kind, ADOCS, out of here as well. Well, it's no lie. I ain't saying the immigrant thing, the same thing. I'm not saying two different things. All I'm saying is this. That African shit that you seeing going on where they promoting citizenship and all that, that's white sea people paying Africans to get us over there. They've been doing this since long ago, the ACS, where they sent them to Liberia and so forth. They're paying them to promote us to go there. And you bring your ass over there and get that citizenship. Listen, I don't know if these celebrities think that, oh, he can't and he ain't gonna go trap us over there. Oh, really? Do you see how they treat celebrities in this country? Our celebrities? Do you see what's going on with them, right? Yeah. I don't know what makes you think it's special. But I happen to think that they are paying Pan Africans to, promote us over there to get us out the country. Okay? Immigrants are easy to dismiss, but we have to be sold into leaving. Okay? So how can we be sold into leaving? By celebrities, influencers that go over there and act like it's something. They don't show them outskirts, boy. I tell you that much. They go to that one little area that's about not even a full mile, the tourist district, and they show pictures there or whatever of animals or whatever and get the fuck on. Okay? Anyways, that's a wrap. I say be careful with the citizenships and with going over there to Africa. Period. That's what I say about that. Moving along from that. Um, let me talk about this right quick. I gotta go. I'm almost finished because I didn't want to be on here this long. But y'all be having so many side notes. Listen, I want to say this right here. This is interesting right here for me. One second. All right. So this is something I wanted to, oh, listen. This is side note, by the way. Colloquial dialect. I want to talk about real quick the ADOCS, American Descendants of Slavery dialect, which we call it Ebonics. And the white sea people have renamed Ebonics into AAVE, African, African, African American Vernacular English or something like that, right? I think it's African American Vernacular English. Did you guys hear what I just said? They renamed our colloquial dialect, which is cultural talk. How you gonna rename our shit? We call it Ebonics. A black man coined the term of our language, our colloquial dialect, Ebonics. But because they study us so much in our language, our colloquial dialect, the academics, hold on, the academics and the so-called scholars wants to change our stuff to, well, let's name it AAVE. That's a better descriptor rather than Ebonics. Okay, we're gonna call it AAVE. No, we're gonna call it Ebonics. Okay, it's Ebonics, people. Ebonics. Okay, so let me explain to you real quick. Oh, wait, hold on. I got a comment. Pat Parcell say they don't know black celebrities don't have the power anymore. What showed during the election they couldn't get most of us to vote for Kamala? Right. D.L. Hewley, Ricky Smiley, and Steve Harvey and others. Yep, that's right. They don't know they don't have the power no more. Exactly, baby. I say always ignore them celebrities. Those people have a lifestyle to maintain and they're gonna do all kind of stuff to get paid, okay? Shit, if you grew up with you've been living around rich celebrities and your money dwindling, you want to continue to enjoy the lifestyle, you need millions to do that. So of course they're gonna be doing all kinds of stuff for money. Okay, like lying. Okay, so um concerning our the ADOCS American Descendants of Slavery dialect, um and it's called Ebonics, but they renamed it AAVE, but I will stick to Ebonics. Okay, it was coined, Ebonics is a name that was coined by a black man that's of our group ADOCS, and he studied the language and so forth and all that kind of stuff, and he coined it Ebonics. So he realized there was a difference in our language with these white tea people, all that kind of stuff like that. So let me explain this to you before I go into further detail. A dialect is cultural, is colloquial dialect. A dialect is culture talk. What's up, girl? What's up, black? You know, when we say what's up, black, we the person might be dark skinned, so we like what's up, black. They know not to take offense to that. All right? Because it's cultural talk. We know what each other mean. That's colloquial dialect. Then there's vernacular. The vernacular is when we're outside of our culture of people, we use a formal language, which is English. We use a formal language to speak to other groups that don't understand our cultural dialect, which is colloquial dialect. That's the difference. Vernacular is what we speak outside of our culture when we speaking to other people outside of our culture. Colloquial dialect is what we speak to each other in our culture. Rather than saying colloquial dialect, I say culture talk, a culture dialect, okay, a culture language. So Everybody has a colloquial dialect they speak, including white tea people. Everybody have where you're gonna hear them talking, you don't know what it quite mean what they're saying because you're not up their culture. Everybody have a colloquial dialect. Everybody speak a vernacular when they're not talking to people in their culture, meaning they're gonna use a formal language to speak to each other because that's they don't I don't understand your cultural talking, you don't understand mine. So we switch into vernacular. So to a degree, all of us are bilingual. Okay. I do not understand what they call that Spanish bilingual stuff when they Bangladesh. They call the Spanish people who gets Bangladesh? I think it's Spanish English, Bangladesh, and then they have another one. They named their colloquial dialects, by the way. Ours is Ebonics. And by the way, just to let you know, a pidgin language is a language, pidgin and Creole language, derived from when the white sea people went around the world conquering other nations of people. Either a pidgin language came about or a Creole language. A pidgin language, it means it's a mixture of languages with the colonizer and the captured people. So what happens is that the tongue is mixed with their language, the captured language, and those captured, the colonizer and the captured language. And so what happens is that like ours is Ebonics because they have no grammar rules to it. We don't have any grammar rules to our Ebonics. We can only speak it. Now let's look at what a Creole language is that come about from two different languages, forced, because they forced the people to speak their language, right? Let's say Haiti. Haitians were forced to speak the language of the colonizers. And so it's a mixed language, which is a Creole. And it's only Creole because it has grammatical rules. It became a whole nother language with grammar rules. So you not only can speak it, but you can write a Creole language because it has grammar rules. A pidgin language, you can speak it, but you cannot write it because it has no grammar rules. Ebonics is a pidgin language. Haitian Creole is a Creole language. So Creole languages exist all around the world. Wherever they had people captured by another nation, they was forced to speak that nation of people language. They never lose their own natural tongue. It becomes a mixed language, which is called Creole. They got all kind of Creole languages, not just Haitian Creole. They have other kind of Creole languages. Okay. All right. So I hate to be a teacher to you, but I'm breaking it down. Okay. Pet Paul Sales says, time to get up later. Happy Black History Month. Yes. Good. Have a good one. And so I want to talk about this real quick. This is very interesting. You're about to learn something. They tried to Africanize our Ebonics. When you look into Ebonics, which I did today, I was very, very shocked. Ebonics was coined by one of us, American descendants of chattel slavery, by a man named Robert L. Williams. He was a psychologist, an educator, and a professor. He coined the term Ebonics in 1973 after studying how our different language pattern from white tea people and so forth, okay, and other people too. All right. And so they tried to Africanize our language. When he coined this term Ebonics in 1973, they had us thinking we was African and everything about us is African. Because, they went through reclassifying people, classifying many native tribes as Negro people. What? Yeah, just reclassifying people all kind of ways. And you Africans, I know you understand because they went over to Africa and reclassified the fuck out of y'all too. How about that? They took tribes that was historical enemies. We talking about historical. We talking about not just decades upon decades, but hundreds of years historical enemies, and lumped them all up. Talking about you in one country and all y'all Nigerians. No, they're historical tribal enemies. You see, that's reclassification. They did the same thing over here. So you guys understand what we're saying when we talk about the reclassification and the tampering of who's who and what's true, what's really true. And so they try to Africanize everything about us here in America and tell us they even Africanized the indigenous populations of people because they didn't want to give up the land. They Africanized every fucking body, okay? That when they Africanize you, that means that they are making it where you don't get to claim um anything, land or whatever, okay? They're basically saying you're outsiders. Okay, they only was a little favoring of the indigenous people because they're like, oh, okay, yeah, well, they treated them horrible, but eventually they gave them some treaties and land, which they keep on taking from them they're not honoring the treaties at all. But anyways, they try to Africanize our Ebonics by saying that Ebonics have Ebonics have African words. Guess how many African words Ebonics have, y'all? hmm The so-called scholars found 36 African words. And so they said that now you Ebonics is African derived because they found 36 African words. When you read the list of African words they found, like banjo, booter, what the fuck? We don't use that. What are you talking about? That's not stuff we use over. Do you see where I'm going, people? They lied. They just try to Africanize our Ebonics by saying, oh, this is African. Let me go to the thing. This is African derived because you guys use 36 words we found. We don't know if you fucking lying. We 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 found 36 African words. Oh my gosh, some of the words we do not use, people. I've never heard of these words, but let me go to them right quick. Um, Child tripped out. I say, now this ain't nothing but a fat old lie right here. Okay, words I never even heard of. Let me get down to it. Oh, by the way, before I get to the words, they said, uh, by the way, ebonics mean ebony plus phonics, ebonics. You know what I'm saying? So he put that together. They're talking about he was emphasizing African roots with English, with English. By the root of the language. Ebonics is based on African linguistic structures. Oh my goodness, hold on, let me explain it to you. It's not preserved through slavery and African diaspora, right? Influenced by West African language. You telling me so because you heard the people speak 36 West African languages, that means that derived from Africa? The fuck? White people were speaking that because let me tell you something, a lot of them had, when they used to sail around, they would always have some Africans on their boat. So I'm quite sure they picked up African vernacular from the Africans and passed it on to their people as they went on elsewhere. So even the white tea people would have these words that's in their, I say these motherfuckers be lying their ass off. Listen. So 36 words does not make a pigeon or a speech African derived. um, to get down to it. It's so ridiculous. I'm getting down to the words. Oh, okay. Okay. I think I'm right here. So this is why they say it's African derived as well, besides the 36 words that we don't use that supposedly come from Africa. They say besides that, it's African derived because how we talk. Like when we say, rather than saying he is tall, we say he tall. Basically they're saying because we don't use verbs, this is African derived patterns. Because we don't use verbs. They're saying this is how Africans talk. He tall rather than saying he is tall. Well, my MF for goodness. Have you guys read Old English? Have you read Old English? Old English is, whew, I, God dang it. If you read the old King James version of the Bible, it's Old English. And you will not, you're probably gonna go get a New English version. Okay? You will not understand. But these people would tell us that, well, it's African derived because you guys don't use verbs, and that's how Africans talk too. Africans speak a whole nother language, honey. You know, you really don't know how they fucking talk. When they're trying to speak English, that's how they talk too. When when we look into the old English, this is the same thing of old English. So they say that this is one of the reasons why they consider our Ebonics derived from Africa, because we don't use verbs and we use double negatives like I don't know nothing. What? Do you guys see this? Also, because of tone, no patterns, influence and intonation, intonation, like the speech. So these people saying, "Oh, well, you guys sound like Africans with your speech, your pronunciation, and grammatically, it seemed like what how Africans speak. He tall rather than saying he is tall." And Africans use double negatives, and so do you guys. So we're gonna go ahead and count this as Ebonics is African derived when we know Ebonics have no African words. Stop that foolishness. Stop that. Ebonics is heavily English words and indigenous wording. You know how many indigenous tribes around this camp spoke different languages and stuff? Are you fucking kidding me? That we picked up on because we were among them? The cultures of people we were among were not African. It was Europeans and different um, First Nations who spoke different languages. By the way, the First Nations also have a form of pidgin languages, mixed culture, force languages that came about between a colonizer and a captives. You're telling me that we don't have any, even though our people was bred into these people, we don't have any influence, which we do, any influence from indigenous colloquial dialect? Our Ebonics don't have no influence. Use a motherfucking lie. In New Orleans, where I'm from, they made music together. The people made music together. It was very nice too. I forgot what they called it. But it's a musical genre that uh they made music together. These people trying to Africanize us is truly ridiculous. There are no African words in our vernacular. I mean, in our dialect, our pidgin colloquial dialect. They're talking about is we consider this African derived because it has African patterns, the way Africans talk. We sound like Africans and we use double negatives like Africans. This shit just pissed me off. This is so stupid. This is lies. It has nothing to do with our vernacular, our dialect, our colloquial dialect. Listen, we grew up around indigenous populations that spoke different languages, and these people are trying to say we don't have any influence from indigenous tribes that spoke different languages and different pigeons. We didn't pick up on any of their. Oh my good! I know my people smart. I know you're gonna catch on to this, right? Just like they reclassify people, they just go and Africanize everything, everybody, and it's to make it seem like you foreigners. That's what that's about. Like you wasn't here and you're foreigners and all that old kind of stuff. Ain't that a blimp? I went through the words. I'm like, none of these are, what are you talking about African words? We don't say this kind of crap. Words, that's a lie, a whole lie. Okay. And if you're not one of us, you ain't gonna know it's a lie. But if you one of us, then you know that that's not what we say. Like for instance, they say okra is an African word, right? Now, first of all, gumbo is not from Africa. It's not African derived. It is from native tribes. And the native tribe gumbo, they use the filet. It's a seasoning, a herb. And the dish became so popular, other subgroups of people, different subgroups, begin to use the dish and add their touch to it. Africans during slavery used the dish and they added okra. The Spanish added whatever. You know, everybody put their spin on the dish, but it was derived from natives. Gumbo is a native dish, a native soup. It's rooted from natives. Everybody in Louisiana knows this. And so they were like, well, okra is in the gumbo, and that's why we say it's African derived. I debated with ChatGPT till it came and admitted the truth. Well, we only say it's African derived because they have okra in it. The fuck. Everybody put their spin on a gumbo. Different cultures of people took the recipe, the soup, and added their own spin on it. You got people going around talking about gumbo is African. No, it's not. Stop it. Everything is not African. These white folk lie to people, Africanizing people all day long. It's terrible. That's why I be rejecting it. Stop it. They're trying to get rid of you by Africanizing you all day long. Anyways, I was really shocked to read that, y'all. I was like, wait a minute. You say Ebonics is African derived because it has 36 African words. And on the 36 list of African words, we don't even use but 4 or 5. Let me go to the list. That mess is crazy. They say because you say our Ebonics is African derived because we talk. We don't use verbs, and you say that's how Africans talk too. He is tall. We don't say he is tall. We talk like the Africans according to them by saying because we say he tall. What? We use double negatives. What? Like Africans doing they English or something or whatever. Girl, I'm done with it. Okay. So it's a lie, is what I'm saying. Let me go down to these African words. Okay, let me get to the short list first. Gumbo, I already told you about that. That's not African, that's indigenous. Okra is an African word. Juke joint. Juke. I bet you it's not. Goober, which means peanut. Ain't no ADOCS person ever went around talking about, you got goober? Where the goober? Pick me up some goober. What the freak? Oh my gosh. Banjo, which is an instrument named from Africa. In America, we don't say banjo anything. That's some Spanish stuff or something. We don't use that in our Ebonics. Banjo? Where? When? Okay, let's go down to some more words. This is such a lie. Just freaking lie. Africanize everything. Um, Then it goes and say the words came mostly from English, but the soul and structure came largely from Africa. What? The soul and structure? Do you guys see this? This is the words came mostly from English. Let me tell you what else it came mostly from. Our people was absorbed in with indigenous populations who spoke different languages, from tribes spoke different languages, okay? And we were absorbed among those people. Our people during slavery worked side by side with native tribes. You don't even know if you was a native versus an African, to be honest. You don't even know if your ancestor was a full-blood native who your people could have been here, the people that was already here, right? And then they took a wife from uh as an African. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can't assume all of us come from people that came from Africa. No, that's not how it go. Your people may have been somebody that was here. Boy, you better go look at New Orleans people. Your people could have been somebody that was already here, a tribe of people, and they absorbed some Africans. And one of your grandparents or something, your great grandparents was an African. Do you understand what I'm saying? But your lineage is actually indigenous with an African ancestor. Do you understand what I'm saying? Plenty of us come from that lineage. All right. Ooh. Well, we got to break down this shit. I'm talking these people just trying to Africanize us every which way, which is a lie. Look how they talk like we haven't been influenced by native languages. Native tribes had different languages, and we were absorbed in a lot of these people's tribes. Our people was not our people, but Africans were enslaved side by side with natives for a very long time. They didn't just do away with native enslavement right away when they brought in Africans. They were still enslaving natives heavily when they brought in Africans. They were working side by side. But eventually down the line, they allowed them to go. Just because you should never, with this mixed up stuff, tell yourself that my people come from Africa. Uh-uh. No. Your people could be native who absorbed the African in. And one of your great grandparents was African. But your lineage is an indigenous lineage. Listen, we're going to have to break loose from the Africanizing. Set up here and said our Ebonics is of African derivative, like with 36 so-called 36 words from Africa, which is not even the words that we use in Ebonics. Oh, not just the words, but the way you sound African, and You use double negatives like Africans, and you don't use verbs like Africans. The words come mostly from English, but the soul and structure came largely from Africa. Bullshit. Again, one more time before I move along. You're telling me that we were absorbed with different tribes of natives around us who spoke different languages, but we had no influence. Our pigeon have Ebonics have no indigenous influence. Are you crazy or dumb or just stupid? You can't always listen to what these white people putting out like that. Look how they changed our name, the name of our dialect from Ebonics to AAVE, trying to Africanize it. Okay, moving along. It's sad. It's just sad. People, stop with the African stuff. We're not Africans. Um, Listen, it says the short answer is there are dozens, not hundreds, but dozens of documented African derived words in AAVE. Dozens mean 36. When I read to you a few of them, that's not even words we use. That is so stupid. Um, According to American English scholars, it's about 30 to 60 commonly cited African rooted words, depending on the scholar, though. Um, why the number is limited? Well, during slavery, Africans were forced to use English. Africans' languages were often suppressed, and children grew up speaking English based Creoles. Thank you. English based Creoles, which means that we were not just speaking English based Creoles, but we also have indigenous influence in our Ebonics because we were absorbed with them, different native tribes. How dare you try to act like we don't have any influence in our tongue from natives? You hear shit? We only all right, anyways, this is all Pan African stuff to get us out of the country. That's all it is. They've been doing this. That's all it is. Here we go again. Goober, which means peanut butter. We don't use tote. Now we know tote comes from the English dictionary, which we get from the Caucasians, right? Uh. My goodness. Juke, banjo, an instrument. We don't even use that here. Yam, that's English. Buckra, which mean white man or boss. That must be some slavery time shit right there. Buckra, buckra. Hey, what? All right. Anyway, voodoo. Isn't this what white people speak to? Cooter, which means turtle. We don't say cooter. Gumbo, which means okra stew. Many of these words became American English in general. Of course, they're American English. White people use them too. So how in the hell you gonna dub our Ebonics African because we use it, but you don't dub your own language African because you use it? Oh my God. They became many of these words became American English in general, but they entered through enslaved Africans, especially in Black communities first. Bullshit. Excuse me, my English, y'all. I'm sorry about that. Like, oh my gosh, the lies. Oh my gosh, the lies. Um, what tripping me out about it, what trips me out the most about it is that they acting like we don't have any influence in our Ebonics from native indigenous tribes who we were blended in with and absorbed with. What? Man. So, anyways, I wanted to talk about that because I wanted to highlight how they just came and Africanized our Ebonics by changing the name from Ebonics to African American Vernacular English, which is a form of Pan Africanizing us. Okay. Y'all better watch out for that Pan African stuff. All that's doing is just man. All right, let me get this and I'm done for this morning. In the news, it is okay. In the news floating, I'm doing a news float right now. Listen, do you guys think that Ilnana Omar should have apologized to Trump? I call her Ilnana because she reminds me of a homegirl from round away. She told Trump, she said, "What? Listen here, boo. You take your little old self somewhere on and sit down. Ain't nothing you can do about nothing. We already, majority of us already naturalized Americans. Go sit down. I saw you going up them escalators and it stopped, and your ass home could walk up the escalators. I saw you breathing hard." It's like, is this lady crazy? You're talking to the president. He got connections, girl. You gotta stay silent with him. Listen, as I said early on, there's a lot of people around him, real close around him, that don't like him, but they're not gonna say shit to his face because he gonna be focused on them. And look what's going on right now. Yo Nana that spoke out her big ass mouth, and now look what he doing. Do you think that they should have demanded what's her name? I be calling her Nana, but I think it's Ilna Omar. Do you guys think that they should have demanded, her people should have demanded that she go apologize? History. Like that new mayor of New York. That new mayor was looking like, hey, I don't give a shit. So I got the seat. I want a seat. That's all that matters. Do you guys think that what's her name? Ilna Omar should have been forced by her people to go and apologize to Trump? I think that if she would have apologized, it wouldn't have gotten so out of control like it is today. But they're up there blaming ADOCS, American Descendants of Slavery, for the shit that's going down with their community. Don't blame us. You better look at Ilna Omar. She should have apologized, and you should have demanded her to apologize. Because let me explain something to you. It's not about kissing ass. It's about being in a position where you can't do that at the moment because you have a lot of your people still in the process of coming and so forth and so forth. And so you don't want to F it up for them. But if you're thinking about only yourself, you don't care about the people that's coming in and trying to make a living for their family or whatever, then you just talk all over your mouth. Like when a president is going to war, you have to think about the lives of your troops. You just can't go, well, I don't like him, so I'm going to send my troops in. You don't care about the well-being and the lives of your soldiers. You only use them in absolute necessity when it comes down to their lives. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that Ilna was thinking about her people. And the shit just got out of hand because she went too far. And then she doubled down on it. And I'm like, oh, they done. And sure enough, they were done. He sent ice in there heavy on them. He was somewhere in California or somewhere, right at first, Florida or whatever, messing with them. And it went from the undocumented and Kelly straight to Minnesota. Full force. I don't even think she apologized to this day. She's still at it. That lady did not know that these people would change laws on you, like, and wait 4 to 5 months, maybe even 6 months, and then let you relax and think it's all over. And then they come up and be like, hey, it's time to leave. Oh, no, baby. That law been changed 6 months ago. You didn't know? You didn't get the memo? Well, it's time to go, boo. We tried to tell you it's race based. Now they want to walk around talking about, and it's all because we black. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Don't you even dare think about it. Mm-mm. No, you're not. So, anyways, yeah, don't be blaming it on us. Look at your leader, your representative, who should have been demanded by you guys to go and apologize. That's what you should have demanded of your representative, to apologize. Um, Nicki Minaj, I spoke on her earlier. She is replacing Candace Owens. And this the last subject right here. AI robotics boom is at the door, baby. Listen, with the AI robotics boom comes a new world order. You're best to know that. When I say comes a new world order, it means that the AI robotic boom already in America is popping off. It has replaced a lot of jobs. The automation industry, all that kind of stuff, it's replaced a whole plenty jobs. We're moving into universal income, which means cheap labor is a wrap. It's done. Period. Okay? Cheap labor is over. Now, with this new world order, with the AI robotics boom, um, when you think about poor countries, I think Elon was saying this, when it comes to poor countries like African countries, that's pretty much like extreme poverty. He was saying that they're going to be able to go there and create basically a Dubai in a snap of a finger, because they're using all kind of different methods of building houses now. It's not your traditional American way of building a house, like hammer nails and wood and take 2 years. None of that there. They're using different techniques techniques and methods to build housing and buildings extremely fast. Do you guys know how fast Dubai was built? It was built very fast because they used the building technique from China, somewhere in Asia. I think it's China. And those skyscrapers and stuff is not built like American buildings and stuff. It was built very fast and very sturdy and very good quality material. They built Dubai up really fast, really fast. And let me tell you something. They are going to make Africa, poor nations in Africa, bring it up to the level of a first world country. Okay. Now they're going to create lots of jobs, he said, because a lot of the job is going to be knowing, well, you're going to be managing AI and robots, lots of management and engineering and mechanical stuff for this robotic industry. Okay. So pretty much look forward to seeing the school curriculum change. I say in about 5 more years, all the grocery stores are not going to have cashiers. They're not going to have security. Everything is like Amazon. They already have Amazon Go, where you sign up with your credit card or your card, and you walk in, you collect the stuff, and you bag it in, or yeah, you bag it, and it's done. 1 second. Yeah, you bag it, and it's done. Yeah, you walk. I've been in there before. You walk in. Well, I didn't sign up with my card at the time, but you can sign up with your card now. You just walk in, you pick up items, they charge you for whatever items you pick up, and you walk out. The charge goes to your credit card. Okay. They have also an Amazon retail store. I didn't I didn't quite see how that one worked, but that is also interesting to looking to see how that worked. Um, all that was a test of the whole AI robotic systems. Okay. And so they're closing a lot of those stores now, like the Amazon retail store, whatever, they're closing a lot of those for some reason. They're gonna change it up. That's why. But in about 5 years, we're not gonna have cashiers and grocery store workers. We're not gonna have bank workers. We're not gonna have um all the basic stuff that, like, my sister, she told me she was in Atlanta and she took a driverless Uber. And I'm like, girl, are you crazy or nutty? Why would you do that? And she's like, well, I ain't scared of nothing. I'm like, oh, goodness. Well, how was it? So she was like, I say, did you sit in the front or the back? And she was like, you don't sit in the front. She sat in the back in the car, it was fine. And um, she said the only thing she didn't like about it led her off far from where she was supposed to go. And I'm like, well, why you didn't call him? And she's like, call who? I'm like, okay. So then she told me she seen a little kid in one of them in a front seat on a highway. I said, girl, you can't be serious. She said, girl, yes, that mess is funny as hell. She different. I'm like, that's not funny. Somebody put their kid in a car, in an Uber car with a driverless Uber. What the hell? Oh my gosh, I would be like so freaked out if I saw that. Hello, people. That's crazy. So, anyways, we seeing stuff like that. We're seeing driverless cars now, which mean a lot for Uber. They're not going to need drivers anymore because the cars are driving themselves. Okay. Oh, a lot of stuff is about to be, while Trump is in office, mind you, because he said he was introducing this to American society. Okay. So I want you to know a lot of industries within 3 years is going to be absorbed by AI and robotics, automation robotics. Yep. And if it's going to be that way, I can tell you this about poor African nations. When they go there to bring the AI robotics boom and create all these jobs and the economic boom, management, managing AI and stuff, I can tell you that they are going to want something out of it. And the African resources don't belong to Africa as is. It belongs to foreigners. And you know what? You might ask, well, what, they're gonna just take it? No. If they want the economic boom for their poor citizens and live a better life for them and their people, they're gonna give that control up really fast and let the economic boom take place. And you know what they're gonna have to exchange it for? Land. They have nothing but land to give. They don't have anything else. The resources are already controlled by others. They're going to let Africans have 10% control, be the face of control, but they don't really own Africa anymore if they want the economic boom. So Africa is not going to belong to Africans anymore. We talking some new world order stuff. And if they want to get in the game, they're going to have to sell their land. And those people are not going to let other faces be the representation of Africa because it's a form of colonization again, right? They're going to keep an African face that only have 10% control with authority over the 10% control. So Africa's going to have to give up, if it's a really poor nation, it's going to have to give up this land in order for the people to have an economic boom. I once heard a guy talking on the channel, a Pan African channel, and he was saying that. He was saying the best way to get Africa out of poverty is to let a foreigner run the country because there's too much tribalism. Over there, they only care about their tribe and their people. They don't care about the other people in the country because it's different tribes. So he was right on point when he said that. And guess what? He was right on point because that's most certainly in the making. Africa will sell the land to become a part of the economic boom, which is the new world order of AI robotics. Periods. All right. So y'all can look forward to going home and stuff because Elon is, that's what he plans on doing, honey. Okay. That's what he plans on doing in America. Is already happening. You just don't see it quite yet because you're not paying attention. You're focused on a whole lot of the other smoking buildings and stuff. But that's exactly what's going on right now. AI is in the process of taking all these jobs, baby, in a minute. 5 years, ain't nobody gonna have no, not even 5 years. In about 3 more years, ain't nobody gonna have no damn job. It's gonna be universal income. Okay. So think about that. All the people gonna be able to go back home and Haiti, Africa, and all that have an economic boom because this robotic time, AI robotic time. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, that's a wrap. I gave you guys a lot to think about. Think about it. Talk about it. Yeah. All right. Thank you for tuning in to Miss Chantell's channel. I hope my volume was good throughout the stream because I am not going to be doing a repeat of this if it wasn't. Okay. The last one I had to remove, I'm like, oh, the music was too loud. They're making a lot of noise in the background. So I removed it to do this retake on a topic. I will be talking about our inventions that I already looked up, a whole bunch of them during slavery, all that kind of stuff, for the Black History Month, highlighting our inventions and all of the great things we did that our people took part in establishing this country and all that kind of stuff. Okay. We're going to learn some things about our history, our people. Okay. What else? Happy Black History Month. And should we call that something else now that we delineating and we being specific about who we are now? Should we like Happy Foundational Black History Month? Happy ADOS Month? Happy Solan? Happy we should change that. Don't never let nobody tell you you can't change the name of your people's celebrations. Okay. Thank you very much for tuning in with Miss Chantell. I hope you learned a lot. Talk about it. Thank you for tuning in. Good night.